Recording? What's up, guys? Back at it again. It's Opex. Got another one for you today. Let's dive into it. Have a sip of my coffee, evaluate my thoughts. We shall begin. So, I keep hearing this thing. Trust the experts. I don't care what you have to say. I care about what the experts say. Your opinion doesn't matter. The only one who matters is the experts. I just keep hearing the shit and hearing the shit and hearing the shit. Let's dive into it. So I just saw something that said something along the lines of AI just said that it will kill humanity within 4 years. And then next to it, it says experts agree. And all I did was laugh, and I was like, it's time to make this fucking video. Turn on this fucking video, here we are. Look, we heard this through the pandemic, which I'm very surprised people call it the pandemic still after knowing it was all planned. And people know it was a plan. Fauci said it was a plan, etc. But we heard it during the pandemic. If it was planned and the experts want you doing such, wouldn't you just all of a sudden be like, fuck the experts, there's a nefarious plan, agenda to this. But people don't think. People just let things just slide. People believe in coincidences. And people think that humans can can have errors. But experts have less errors than you or I. Okay. Before we dive into that, let's dive into what an expert is. Bare bones level, an expert is a level of skill or understanding towards something. You can be an expert chess player. You can be an expert anything, right? An expert would be understanding of it, experience in it, which led you to be an expert instead of adept or a beginner. You are now an expert, right? And a lot of people don't just call everybody this an expert when we're talking about like online people, like saying, for example, let's just go back to the AI. Experts agree that AI is going to kill us in 4 years. Experts agree? Who are these experts? AI has only been around at this level for a very short period of time. How can you be an expert in it? Now, could you theorize it whatever you want? Yes, you can theorize whatever you want. But that goes ahead and saying, well, it doesn't matter if they're an expert or not. Anyone can come up with anything. Look, an expert is a skill level, an understanding of something to a high level. If I just got into plumbing yesterday or today, let's just say today, I just got into plumbing. I am not an expert. It's my first learning experience of it. I am a beginner. I'm not even a journeyman. I'm just a beginner. I don't understand the ins and outs of plumbing. Therefore, I'm a beginner. Right? So it's an understanding and a skill level of such. A lot of people want to equate scientists. To be called a scientist, you are an expert scientist. That is not the case. Just like if I just got into plumbing, I cannot be an expert plumber. Now, there are variables, right? If I just got into plumbing today, well, what if I was doing it beforehand and I never was appropriately skilled in a trade school or on-job whatever, right? Let's say I was learning this on YouTube and I saw do-it-yourselfs of, oh, if my drain is clogged or has a leak. This is what I do. And you learn those things. You never actively did it, but you learned it. And you understand it. And you have knowledge of it. So then day one of plumbing school, everything's just like refreshers. Just like, oh yeah, I knew that. Oh, I knew that. Oh, I knew that. Were you still not an expert? Because I believe that these people writing these articles would say, you are not an expert. But you know everything about plumbing, you know how to do the job, and just because you are not a professional licensed plumber, does that mean that you are not an expert because of that? So is it a credential, which is what I'm alluding to here, a credential required to become an expert? That's what I'm starting to realize. It has nothing to do with your knowledge of anything. It has something to do with, have you been being paid long enough to be an expert? And that's what I'm noticing online and people's understanding of what an expert is. So going back to scientists, we all studied science in grade school, in high school. We all understand science. Now, what if you followed all the science shows, you did all your backyard experiments, and you understand thermodynamics and plate tectonics and blah, 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 biology and blah, 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 physics and all these things, and you were an expert in these fields. Just because you never got paid for it, the majority of people would say you are not an expert. This is what I'm getting confused here. Are you a professional or are you an expert? There's a huge difference. Someone could be a professional teacher, but be a terrible teacher and did it for 50 years before they retired. Right? This teacher just never knew how to get to the children. Terrible way of explaining things, and they did it for 50 years. Are they an expert? A lot of people would say, this person's an expert. They've been doing it for 50 years. So wait, expertise is getting paid for a length of time. That's not what an expert is. An expert is, again, I laid the foundation of this earlier. An expert would be someone who has knowledge and skills in something. So going back to the scientists, there's a difference here when somebody says, a lot of people say that if you're a scientist, you are an expert scientist. You're an expert, right? Because you're a scientist. That is not the case. Just because you went to extra schooling doesn't make you an expert. It just makes you generally be able to regurgitate information on command from the hierarchy, whether that's good information or bad information, but repeat it on command. That's what you are graded on in universities, school. Does that make you an expert? A lot of people would agree, yes, that makes you an expert. You went and had some formal education on being a scientist, whatever level that was, but you are an expert now because you are now a scientist. But again, you can be a teacher for 50 years and be terrible at teaching. Does that make you an expert? I would say no. So I'm trying to figure out here why are people confusing experts with professionals? Because there's a difference. Professional, you get paid for it. Professional, you do this for a living, or you make money off of it. You make monetary value off of services or whatever it is that you're doing. In my opinion, it always sounds good to all of us saying that experts agree, or scientists agree, or dentists agree. And people believe those kind of words like dentist and scientist hold more value, like they are experts in something. But what they're failing to realize is that they are not experts necessarily. They are merely professionals. I've never seen one of these articles saying AI says that it'll kill humanity in 4 years. Professionals agree. Never seen it. So they are completely confusing experts and professionals. Fauci is not an expert. He is a professional. He's been getting paid to do this for many, many years. So when you saw it in the pandemic, when people say that experts agree on you wearing the mask or whatever, it's not experts. It's the higher ups. It's the tyrants. Tyrants agree you should be wearing this mask and muzzling yourself. Tyrants, not experts. Experts would be people wearing masks, like surgeons. Now, if they said all surgeons agree that you should be wearing masks for this thing, that's different. If they said that all experts, who are they talking about? They're talking, if you look into it, you follow the money, you're looking at professionals. Trickle-down economics, where it's coming from the higher-ups, money's being put into certain pockets, and then they say that they're experts, which are lining their pockets. Same thing with these fact checkers. You can look at fact checkers. Are they experts? No. Fact checkers are not experts. So when you see fact checkers, again, they're just professionals at telling you what's real or not. That's what they are. They are not. Uh-oh. That looks like a forest fire happening. Woo! Yeah, that's a fire. So fact checkers are not experts. They are professionals. They are getting paid to tell you what to believe, what is true, what is make-believe. They're getting paid to tell you that. Now, if you look at every time I see the word experts, experts say, experts agree, experts this and that, what do I see? I see tyrants with money persuading the minds of politicians and universities and whatever corporate agenda they have. And it's being trickled down, and people are saying, experts say. But it's not experts, is it? It's tyrants. Almost every time. If academic scholars or people that hold degrees academically, if that's what it takes to be an expert in some of these minds, well, that just means that you got to regurgitate their information that they're giving you. You cannot think for yourself. You are only versed in a specific ideology. Any way away from that, you are not an expert. So Neil deGrasse Tyson has to follow the agenda of all the astrophysics, even though, and he has to go along with the idea that we landed on the moon and all that stuff. But when you look at the footage, that's false. So who's true? What's true isn't coming from the experts. What's true is when you figure it out for yourself what's really going on. Experts is a way of saying that this is true, but it is not true. What they are saying and what they are concluding is that you can't think for yourself because you may come up with the fucking truth. When I saw AI, literally 30 seconds before I pressed record on my video, AI says that in 4 years it'll wipe out humanity. Experts agree. What I think is that they have a plan of wiping out humanity, and they're trying to flip it as it's AI doing it. That's what I think, because I think. But if you don't think, you think that, or you conclude that there's real imminent danger from AI, which is just a tool. Look, there's more danger in nuclear power. You can wipe out the whole planet with nuclear power. The fact that you're worried about AI, which has no power, no energy, no power, nothing, it's a mind fuck that you think that you agree with this. Everything I've seen from AI specifically that they talk about is horseshit. Same thing with climate change, same thing with everything that they've said, the pandemic. It's all horseshit. It's trying to convince you and brainwash your mind and switch your mind into believing something that is not true, because in your brain, when you hear experts, you think that it means the closest to truth. And when I see pages on Facebook, there's a page I like, even though that they are completely regurgitating tyrant info. It's called Give a Shift About Nature. I like this channel. A lot of their information's really good. However, they also say, I don't care about your opinion. I only care about what the experts say. And that's fine. You can classify whoever is the expert or not, because it's all in here, who's the expert or not. What kind of it's all up in here what you consider to be an expert or not. It is not up to a specific criteria, because I already gave you that criteria. It's skills and knowledge and understanding. So if you have skills and knowledge, how much until you're an expert? That is subjective. Expertise is subjective. But we can all basically agree, if somebody mastered something, someone who doesn't have to look up information online about it or whatever, we can all agree this person's more of an expert at this. Now, as somebody who studied virology, someone who understands virology very well, studies what doctors know and what doctors believe, to virologists, what they agree, does that make me a virologist? No. I am not a virologist because I don't get paid for it. That's the difference. I don't get paid for it to learn and understand virology. I haven't gotten paid for it, so I'm not a virologist. But it seems to me like I know virology to the 99th percentile of the rest of humanity. I know what I understand the ins and outs. I understand RNA viruses, how it infects cells, the different types of... I know so much of it. So when a fact checker says, I'm wrong about something, who's wrong? I know more about it than the fact checkers. I know a lot more about it than the fact checkers. So who's right and wrong? It's not about who's right and wrong. It's about who you believe or what you believe is right. And if fact checkers can say this information's wrong, and then they give you a CY, even though the CY is never explanatory, never actually in detail, never something that you can digest and understand is, oh wow, this is actually not right. Now, do the fact checkers get it right once in a while? Yes, obviously. But when you see that it's during the pandemic this started, they wanted you to believe a specific, narrow piece of information. And anything away from that is crazy. It's horse dewormer. It's fucking crazy. But then, most of humanity realized they were duped by the experts. And we were right the whole time. And I was right the whole fucking time. I never wore a mask except for one time when my rooster pecked my eye, gave me a corneal abrasion, I went into either the hospital or doctor's office or something, and they fixed my eye for the most part. I thought I was blind, and I wore a mask because the fucker refused to work on me without me wearing that stupid shame muzzle. So the doctor wasn't smart enough to know what was going on. The doctor had no idea that this was a surgical mask, and he kept putting it above my nose. He just kept doing it. I'm like, dude, do you even study your own shit? Are you even knowledgeable, or are you just regurgitating tyrant information to feed Big Pharma to make them more profits and make people more sick? You know what a doctor that I would consider an expert would say? I wouldn't say, go fucking wear a mask and get poison injected into you. That's retarded. You know what I would tell you as a real expert? Go get some sunshine. That gives you your vitamin D, which strengthens your immune system, which fights off disease. Strengthen your immune system. Get some fresh air. Stay away from stress. Eat better. Eat real food, real meat. And if you eat vegetables, make sure it's organic and not sprayed, because when it's sprayed, it has antibiotics, which destroys and hurts your immune system. And I would go down that rabbit hole, but no doctor does that. I would say exercise. I would say get some sunshine. I would say eat better. I would say smile more, have more belly laughs. Go for a jog once in a while. Does any doctor do that? So, I am not a professional doctor. I was in the field for a little bit, for a couple of years with a few patients. But I am not a professional doctor. I am, however, an expert at health. There's a huge difference here, because doctors do not create cures. They create customers. If they did what I told you to do, eat better, stay away from stress, whatever's stressing you out, stay away from that, smile more belly laughs, get off the alcohol and the cigarettes and the bad diet, and get some sunshine and exercise and have a good body sweat and belly laugh. That cured everything. I'll never see you again. You have all the knowledge right there to never be sick again. But nope, wear a mask, get the jab, and don't worry about what's causing your problems. Disease. Opposite of ease. You're not at ease. Dis-ease. That's all it is. If you're at stress, you weakens your immune system. That helps disease occur. That happens, you jerk off too much. You're going to lower your testosterone. You may be more depressed. Just by jerking off, that fun thing that you like to do. The bag of potato chips that's feeding your stomach, which is creating negative outputs. Doctors don't tell you any of that. They don't want to tell you anything like that, because their job is to feed tyrants more power and money. More power, more money. Still trusting the experts? They're designed to make you weak and docile and be on a pill for life. Still trust the experts? Idiots. Their version of experts just means that they were brainwashed so long in school, 8 years of medical school, to follow a certain criteria so that their overlords make more money and power. Their overlords make more money and power over making sure this doctor convinces its customer to keep that bad diet, keep smoking, keep doing the bad shit, and just fill them up with poison, put a shame muzzle on them that's, destroying their pulmonary system. You're going to trust that system? The medical mafia and its experts are not here to make you safe. They are not here to make you healthy. Stop following the experts and understand the difference between what they're calling experts, which is professionals that are trickled down with money to them from people with specific agendas. That's what they call experts in all of these articles that you read. And all these people that go up into a podium. Do you think a politician like Al Gore knows anything about how climate changes? Do you think he does? Or was he given a specific dialogue to explain this to you so that it convinces people to give up more rights and freedoms and money? Which one do you think it is? You think Al Gore's a professional or a expert? He's a professional, meaning he gets money to talk about this shit. Bill Gates, is he a professional or an expert? He is not an expert because he's giving you bad information, right? So it's not the right information that he has that he's portraying to you. He's giving you specific information that he is an expert at deceiving. He's an expert at convincing people to go along with an agenda to make him and his overlords more money. Has Fauci in his back pocket. So don't be deceived when they say that experts say this. That just tells you, run the other way. Whatever they're coming up with, whatever they're concocting, there's a plan and a reason for it. Because this is higher up agenda that's getting paid to these people that convince you of something. That's all it is. Whether it's politicians, scientists, whatever. Academic professors, whatever. They're all being trained to train your mind to align with their agenda. Why do you think that they have you vote and elect a president, even though it's selected? Because they're making sure that they're finding someone that can persuade the people the most. That's why it's a majority contest. That's why it's a popularity vote. Because if they can convince you, the majority of people, to go along with this president, well, what happens? President says something, you align to it. You believe it. You go along with it. That's the whole point of a president. President's a spokesperson of a corporation. They are not an expert in anything. They are literally designed to convince the people of the corporate overlords' hidden agendas and let these people go along with it by feeding them lies. Still trust the experts? Still think Joe Biden has access to the nuclear codes, you morons? That's not how life works, but that's how you were convinced, because you believe the higher ups. You believe the tyrannical nonsense that they're spewing out. They manipulate the weather and then blame you. Still trust the experts? Hopefully this will at least wake up one human being from not being deceived by the experts. Because they're not even talking about experts. They're talking about professionals, which they refuse to say because it hits a lot better to the sheep ear hearing experts. Experts say, but they're not experts. And experts, even if they were being honest about it, is subjective. It's subjective. Even if they were going to use it the right way, it's subjective. Saying someone's a beginner is subjective. I can give two people a video game. This guy's been playing Call of Duty for 10 years. This guy's never played Call of Duty ever, but this beginner wins. Oh, it's beginner's luck. It's subjective. Who's the expert? Who's better at it? Subjective. But they're not even doing it in real terms of being experts. They're talking about experts as professionals. And that's just trickled down. Where's the money going to make them say certain shit? That's it. So read your articles is whenever they say experts, replace experts as in paid by tyrants. Professionals that are paid by tyrants. That's it for this video. I got a lot into this video. We got 31 minutes into this video. I got plenty of content coming. Stay tuned for it. Subscribe if you haven't. Definitely like my shit because it could affect the algorithm where I'm not just shadow banned completely. They obviously don't want me talking because I'm giving you common sense shit right now. But no one even thinks about it. So it's not common knowledge, it's common sense. And I'm just spreading philosophically common sense. All right, stay tuned for more content, plenty more coming. It's OPEX. See you guys.